Ministra Adjunta para el Desarrollo Social de Sudáfrica, por su intervención. Y doy ahora la palabra a Su Excelencia, señor Nur Jazlan Mohamed, Viceministro del Interior de Malasia, que hablará en nombre de la Asociación de Naciones de Asia Sudoriental, ASEAN.
Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished guests and delegates, on behalf of the ASEAN Group, I would like to congratulate and welcome Your Excellency as the President of this General Assembly special session on the world drug problem. I am confident that under your able leadership, this session will be a positive and fruitful one. ASEAN would also like to extend our appreciation to the Commission on Narcotic Drugs for its dedication and hard work towards the important preparatory work for UNGAS. Mr. President, I now seek your permission to deliver a statement as agreed upon by the countries of the Association of Southeast Asia Nations, consisting of Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos People's Democratic Republic, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam during the 4th ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Drug Matters held in October 2015. ASEAN is proud to have contributed constructively to the successful completion of the UNGAS outcome document, which we recognize as an important milestone in the discussions for a new drug plan in the year 2019. We look forward to the adoption of the outcome document to achieve the goals set out in the 2009 Political Declaration and Plan of Action. We share the understanding that the recommendations put forth in the outcome document will be undertaken with the aim of bolstering our national and regional efforts in achieving a drug-free society. Despite our diverse drug situation, ASEAN remains united in our core commitment to a drug-free vision, so as to provide our people and communities with a society free from drug abuse and its ill effects. We are acutely aware of the disastrous effects of drugs, not just on the drug abuser and the society at large, but also on national security and development. Mr. President, ASEAN strongly supports the centrality of the 3 international drug control conventions, which remain relevant and shall continue to serve as the cornerstone of the world drug policy. Besides empowering a collective determination and response from all nations, these conventions also build and tap on the collective wisdom of all and provide a collective platform for us to discuss the emerging challenges of drug control. In the light of this, ASEAN stands firm against drugs, including being resolute against calls to legalize controlled drugs. We also pledge equal support to the CND in its role as the principal policy-making organ of the United Nations for all drug-related policies and issues. ASEAN strongly supports this affirmation in the outcome document. While we work collectively on such platforms, we also respect the sovereign right of each state to decide and implement policies that best cater to its individual needs based on the unique circumstances and norms of its society. There is no one-size-fits-all approach towards addressing the drug issue, as each country has its own set of challenges. While some countries may choose to adopt certain approaches, depending on their own circumstances, these approaches should not be imposed on other countries, including those in ASEAN. Mr. President, ASEAN is committed to suppress and eliminate the scourge of drugs to achieve the vision of a drug-free ASEAN. Thus, we have continued to intensify our efforts to implement a comprehensive, balanced, and holistic approach to tackling drugs, giving equal importance to both demand and supply reduction efforts. This approach recognizes that a wide spectrum of factors may contribute to the drug problem, such as insufficient family support for individuals or a lack of enforcement effort to reduce supply. Therefore, upstream preventive measures as well as downstream enforcement, intervention, and rehabilitation measures are necessary to address the drug problem. The overall objective of our efforts is to protect individuals and families from the dangers of drugs and wean abusers of their addiction and protect the security of our region. Mr. President, ASEAN affirms that the supply reduction efforts remain an integral part of all drug control policies and have taken progressive steps in integrating our regional efforts. Within ASEAN, we have created new platforms such as the Airport Interdiction Task Force and the Regional Narcotics Coordination Center to enhance joint operations and investigations to disrupt the network of regional drug syndicates. ASEAN is also fully committed to take collaborative and cooperative operational measures with other regions to a higher level as part of a global collaborative effort to address and mitigate the scourge of illicit drugs. We look forward to continue our cooperation and partnership with the UN agencies, in particular the UNODC, on this matter. In conclusion, the ASEAN Group extends our best wishes and cooperation for a successful UNGAS 2016. Mr. President, now allow me to deliver a statement in my national capacity. The convening of the UNGAS on drugs this year attests our long-standing commitment to address the world drug problem. It is indeed timely for member states to engage in a transparent, inclusive, and open-ended manner on the progress made in achieving the goals set in the 2009 Political Declaration and Plan of Action. This special session will mark an important milestone for member states to chart directions and ways in order to meet their commitments and targets set out in the Political Declaration and Plan of Action by the year 2019. Firstly, the convening of this session reaffirms our recognition towards the role of the Commission on Narcotic Drugs as the central policy-making organ of the United Nations on drug-related matters. Thus, we pledge our full support to the Commission on Narcotic Drugs in discharging its duties and responsibilities. Secondly, Malaysia strongly underscores that the existing 3 international drug control conventions and other relevant international instruments should be the basis for world drug policy and in dealing with the challenges of drug control in the 21st century. Thirdly, Malaysia is committed to address the drug problem through a comprehensive, integrated and balanced approach between demand and supply reduction. These measures, among others, include preventive education, introduction of voluntary treatment and rehabilitation, known as the One Malaysia Cure and Care Clinic, reintegration, utilization of integrated substances control management systems, and the establishment of the Special Tactical Intelligence Narcotic Group under the police, with a view to investigate and arrest local and international drug kingpins and syndicates. We also recognize the challenges in implementing evidence-based drug policy and measures. In this regard, we pledge to enhance our cooperation with all stakeholders in both regional and international levels to promote the sharing of knowledge, expertise, and best practices on drug prevention and treatment. Fourthly, Malaysia recognizes that there is no one-size-fits-all measure towards addressing the drug problem. In meeting our obligations under the drug control treaties, we believe that it is the sovereign right for every government and its citizens to decide what is best for them, taking into account the unique circumstances and norms of its society in accordance with its national policy. Finally, Malaysia fully recognizes that the world drug problem remains a common and shared responsibility that should be addressed through effective and increased international cooperation. In this regard, Malaysia is always ready and committed to cooperate with any member states and international organizations. Mr. President, through the collective spirit of ASEAN member states, the aspiration of a drug-free ASEAN has been successfully translated into a list of action lines under the ASEAN Political Security Community Blueprint 2025, which was unanimously adopted by ASEAN leaders in November last year. I'm hopeful that this session would yield practical outcomes that contribute positively towards our efforts in achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Thank you, Mr. President.
Doy las gracias al distinguido viceministro del Interior de Malasia por su intervención y doy ahora la palabra a su excelencia, señor Sabahattin Öztürk, viceministro del Interior.